This XFL Picks Week 2 edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is presented by WynnBet. WynnBet is now live in Arizona, Colorado, Indiana, Louisiana, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Tennessee, and Virginia. From boosted same-game parlays to live in-game odds, WynnBet has what you need to win. Sign up today, bet 100, get 100 at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WynnBet. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET. State restrictions apply.
Hey, this is Derek Stevens. I'm the owner of Circa Las Vegas. You're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
Long, Cox.
He's one of those guys who will get penetration.
Over.
Welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, stacking the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
Dog.
Did anyone feel like the Colby included? Not super extreme football first week. I was expecting extreme football.
I know Colby joining us here to talk XFL picks. Colby Dant, aka the Dantabase. Colby, you were a huge advocate of player safety and the new kickoff rules. What you got to like what you saw out of the XFL special teams.
It's funny over here. He's funny. He's funny over here.
Can you play the X-Files?
Do I amuse you like a clown?
I couldn't tell whether I was watching MLS or XFL to start those games.
Because it seems like.
I mean, I will say it's I guess it's better than starting just the ball at the 25. But
what was?
Well, that's the hilarious argument.
What don't
here.
we like about it?
This is. I mean, I think it's terrible.
They haven't figured it out how to use it effectively yet, but I think they will.
What do you mean?
The kickoff.
No, even last time they couldn't do it. It's terrible.
It's one play. Like so, you'd rather just see more touchbacks where the players stand with their hands out.
I'd like to see it back to like where it should be, like the USFL did.
Yeah,
back, where you force a return.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That seems less likely now. I mean, with
really, we have the USFL and they did it. Kevontae Turpin made the Pro Bowl, and then
sure. I'm saying with the way that the NFL's building
I don't
the
think it's going to be
affiliation.
likely, but I'm saying that that is a much better thing. I like watching kick returns.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm just saying you play the X-Files music for the XFL because their affiliation with the NFL seems pretty clear. They're an experimental league for rules, and I think some wins, some losses. I agree with you guys on the kickoff. You want to talk about like what's the whole motto, the 54th man or whatever. Yeah. You want to talk about who's the 54th man, the dude who can make a play on a fucking on special teams. And when you're taking that away, you're taking the guy down that's running down and busting through the wedge or whatever.
You can't have it both ways here. To the XFL fan. If you're saying the NFL has only touchbacks, but this is safer, well, in a touchback, the player's not running it back. And this, he's running it back, so therefore it is not safer.
I've watched the play. I don't think it's that much safer.
Maddie, well, then a touchback, it's clearly
no. But I'm saying then a regular. kick return.
I agree.
The returner is still getting like a full head of steam. Yeah. Maddie Modbot checking in saying every time I watch the XFL, I always ask myself how I let my life go this far.
Hashtag Digits only.
All right, so am I out of like? Was the level of play that bad?
No, I mean offensively, I think there was. I was surprised.
I mean, here's I think the issue with all the spring leagues is that it's easier to find decent talent on the line, decent skill positions, some exciting receivers or whatever. Where you see the talent gap is at the quarterback position. It's tough to find 32 really top tier quarterbacks, even in the NFL. So these are the guys that obviously can't make it in the NFL, and the quarterback play is what stands out as the worst.
But that's an obvious take because we even see it in the NFL. The quality of play on the bottom half of the quarterbacks in the NFL is pretty bad, and then you can talk about development and transfer portal and guys not learning the craft in college and all of that bullshit. But I do think. I would even go as far to say the quarterback play. I was surprised. I think you have a preparedness issue where you're not practicing for that long before the first game.
Yeah, it was watchable.
I was surprised at how coherent some of these offenses look.
Well, and I compared them on the XFL Gambling Podcast show I compared the stats. The USFL had better offensive numbers to start week one,
really?
Especially on the ground. On the line of scrimmage, the XFL really couldn't. There was one team that rushed over 100 yards, and that was stood out to me. But also the quarterback play I thought was a lot worse week 1 in the XFL than to the USFL last year.
Interesting. Maybe I'm misremembering.
Now Bobby G is in the YouTube chat, youtube.com/sportsgamblingpodcast. Smash that subscribe button. So many freeloaders who watch our videos not subscribed. You should be ashamed of yourselves. Bobby G says at least the XFL isn't rigged like the NFL. I got to step in, Bobby G. And you are also an Italian like Ben DiNucci.
Oh wow!
But this man, this Ben DiNucci, I've never seen such an obvious throwing of a game. One, he threw 2 interceptions.
The fumble at the 1 yard line. We're about to cash.
He's about to run in, just like. What is that, Ben DiNucci? That was horrible.
And we need to talk about this. This is because this is different than
they put out the script for the XFL. Just know the guys forgot to read it.
Ben DiNucci, I would agree. It was the classic. Like he had moments where you're like, oh, that looks like a good spring football quarterback, but he also had moments that showed you why he's not in the NFL.
Yeah,
and just horrible decisions, like classic linebackers just sitting in that zone and he doesn't see him.
Well, to me. We got to learn also how to handicap these games because the scoring is abstract. It's abstract. If you watch,
you're the fucking scoregami bot over here getting juiced up.
XFL is way more gimmicky.
That's a great gimmick. We need to start an XFL scoregami because if you don't know scoregami, it means like they celebrate every time a score has never happened. But meanwhile, the XFL, there's been 40 games in their history, or even we'll even include the old ones.
The 2001.
Yeah, like 17-13 will be a scoregami. 21-20 will be a scoregami. Please, someone.
I've already told.
I'm curious your guys' take on this, though. I'm curious your guys' take because look, we saw the San Antonio Brahmas and the St. Louis Battlehawks. I personally don't like this because San Antonio dominated for 58 minutes.
Okay,
so this is a good question. Yeah. Do you? Now, I was going back and forth. I don't like the 4th and 15 onside kick for the NFL
and the 3-point conversion.
I don't like that for the NFL.
Why not?
But for the NFL,
you're saying it needs to be longer?
No. Well, for 4th and 15, I don't like doing any sort of 4th down play to replace the onside kick. I like the old school onside kick rules. I think it was an exciting play. I think they had it worked out numbers wise. I don't think it needed to be changed. Now the 3-point play, again, I think that's too gimmicky for the NFL. But let's be real, the XFL is. I like that the XFL is slightly different. So in a weird way, I kind of like that there are rules that are slightly different, or there are the 3-point plays.
I think they're close. To me, what you have to do in this case, so what happens if you get an onside kick? You have the ball at your 35 or 40 yard line,
but you have a lower percentage chance.
But that's where you end up with the ball, right?
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, I think they're on the right path. I think 15 yards is too short. I think you simply
4th and 20.
Smoking my weed.
My problem is a defensive holding or pass interference negates that, and they call that so frequently that it's too. That would be
brutal to lose the onside kick thing on a penalty, but we haven't seen it yet. Again, I like the fact that they're trying different shit.
I think you got to make it,
and maybe they find something that you want in the NFL.
I just
4th and 30, 4th and 30 from the 10.
Call me a traditionalist here, but I just think I think a team beats your ass for 58 minutes. And basically, you're disregarding those 58 minutes because of these rules.
Well, I would say,
this is just an outlier.
You can't get a stop on 4th and 15. You can't get a stop. Multiple times on those last 2-minute drives.
And we don't have that magical moment.
I just think you should have to. But it should be mathematically almost impossible. to come
you
back.
have to.
No. But what if they recovered the onside kick?
Yeah, well, that's
would
what I'm
you
saying.
still have been fine with that?
Yeah.
First of all,
they say your chances are lower.
No. But you said they kicked their ass for 58 minutes, and it's bullshit because they only won those last 2 minutes. But I think your issue is that the 4th and 15 math
is easier than the onside kick.
Well, we would have to have some data to see that.
Maybe you could see like 4th and 20.
I would tend to agree with you.
Well, we saw 2 games do it, and it's just hitting at 50%.
No,
right now.
Well,
it's 1 and 2. It's a small sample size.
I think with standard NFL EPA math, I think it works out to like 4th and 18 or something like that. So maybe they need to stretch it out a little bit. or maybe they want to add the excitement, right? Like,
I mean, I still had fun watching these games.
But that's a youth sports parent take. What you just had right there. The rules are the reason my team lost. No, the reason your team lost is they didn't get a stop at the end of the game. And
one team dominated.
They did.
It's like,
for
this is some arena football shit.
And I have it written.
I
have it written down right here. With 1 minute and 30 seconds left in this game, St. Louis snapped the ball down 15-3.
Yeah,
and they had a great comeback. And San Antonio showed they had a great crowd. They were dominant most of the game. I'm excited.
Was anyone
I'm excited for the
confused
team
and show up in a chicken outfit?
But they choked. They choked. They choked at the end. And guess what? You know what we got out of that choke? We got the magical moment of Prohl, father, son, having that magical moment. You know, as a youth,
I'm a Prohl guy.
As a
AJ McCarron moved to tears.
No, stop that. As a youth sports guy, love the Prohl moment. As a gambler, love that people are off the scent of AJ McCarron being horrible. My bad for thinking him being in the NFL mattered. He's worst quarterback in the XFL outside of Paxton Lynch.
I was about to say, I was like dropping bombs here. I know we want to get into it, but I want to celebrate the DC fans. When you read this and let's go back. Yeah.
We're going to come back to the show, Colby. Don't worry. We're not going anywhere. Plenty of time to talk about the DC Lemonheads. Hey, you're looking to bet on the Lemonheads? SportsGamblingPodcast.com/WynnBet. Bet big, win bigger. Bet $100, get that $100 free bet. Spin the parlay wheel to your heart's desire. Bet big, win bigger with WynnBet. So many ways to win. NBA, NHL, MLB right around the corner. They have a college basketball conference tournament odds up at so many ways to win. SportsGamblingPodcast.com/WynnBet. SportsGamblingPodcast.com/WynnBet. Offer subject to change. Terms and conditions at WynnBet.com. Must be 21 or older and present in the state where playthrough window is available. If you or somebody you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700.
Shout out to Making Bacon in the chat.
Yes, nice.
I want to
New Zealand fella, the Kiwi,
and I feel like that's a lot of the problem here. Is he says it's not the NFL. True, and the NFL's skill level is just way fucking better than any spring league will ever be. But in my opinion, the spring league shouldn't chase the NFL in that capacity because you will never have that skill level. You should do more things from a creativity level with your offenses and with your defenses to draw in. Something new in my opinion.
And I think that's what they're doing that with the 3-point play, with the 4th and 15.
But that's doing it with the rules. I'd rather see it with the actual game of football.
Well, but I think also realistically, it's tough to get super creative with your play calling, with your offenses, with your defenses when you don't have a ton of time to prepare.
This is where my kicking angle works. All right.
What's your kicking angle?
Remember the fake field goal every time, Sean. I would start doing crazy shit like this. Run the Wildcat. One team should just run the Wildcat. You know what I mean? Stuff like that I think would draw in some fans that probably would say, okay, what is this? I'm intrigued. But
it is interesting to think, like, are you a league that is trying to be different? Like akin to like the CFL, like different rules, like different,
but I also
different
think,
angle, or are you trying to be a feeder system for the NFL, which is easier to pitch to players and maybe get higher level talent?
Well, but also too, like I think these coaches and the players, they don't want to run gimmicky bullshit. They don't want to run
What's
Colby's.
the kickoff? The kickoff is gimmicky bullshit.
No, the kickoff is an augmentation of a classic rule, so it feels gimmicky.
I'm saying if you're a quarterback running the wishbone offense in the XFL, that's not going to help you get to the NFL. No, if you're running a spread offense and you got 4 receivers set and you're finding the right reads, that game film might help you get a job.
That also might negate the TV rating you're trying to get.
But that might.
But I think you're in the minority of.
This is the same problem you have with college football.
The wishbone.
This is the same problem that you have with college football, is that there's not enough of the like the different types of attacks and like the strategy that you like. It's being taken away because everyone wants to help show that they can do it at the next level. So until the NFL, until the NFL changes to do one of these things, it's unlikely to see that rolled out specifically for that reason.
But I'd say that's why college football people still tune in when Army Navy does like a $10 million.
I agree. It's still unique to watch, but I think the average person probably doesn't
But the
view it
problem
as fondly as you.
is like you just said though, when you go to the spread and you see Ben DiNucci running the spread, it's not attainable. It's not. People are like, this fucking guy sucks, or this product sucks. If you were to try something different,
I do say like DiNucci, like
I think Ben DiNucci would fail at a number of systems.
DiNucci, like clearly,
I mean, much like Paxton Lynch, who got benched in the NFL, the XFL, the USFL, the CFL. Maybe it's not the system of Paxton Lynch.
But here's the thing, DiNucci, like the thing that stood out to me was the arm strength, and like that's where PJ Walker was great in this system. But we talked about Montez last time, or maybe it was on VSiN, but like that, maybe we'll see a quarterback swap here, and June Jones will have him humming.
Either way, with all that being said, I thought the games were good.
Yeah,
and shout out to the Sunday crowds. All right, the San Antonio crowd was great, and the DC crowd, in my opinion, you build on that because DC is so thirsty, man. As someone that grew up in that city, I don't think your common fan remembers.
Was that a pun?
The Redskins and their how great that stadium was. It was like a college football environment.
Why'd they take the beer stand away?
Two great things.
Yeah, one was security. I mean, I tweeted the Rock Sean about that one.
Why do they?
He didn't answer me.
I thought it was a thing that they were proud of. So that's you're sending a confusing message, right? This is like punishing a kid when they do something good. Secondly, I love that the second favorite drink in the stadium included a lemon that allowed everyone.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Is everyone drinking Hefeweizen? What the hell?
No, it's the they had vodka lemon.
Yeah, there was
and they actually had a real lemon in them.
So they randomly just had all these lemons that they could then throw on the field.
It reminded me of the Simpsons episode where it was.
Sorry, go ahead.
I can tell you this. I have a few buddies in the DC area. Obviously, I grew up there, and they said, "Oh, they're taking away the vodka with the lemons." But guess what? We're buying tickets and we're bringing bags of lemons to the games. So.
Oh, it's great.
I'm telling you, they're tapping
when
into.
life gives you lemonade, make lemons. The DC Defenders.
They're tapping into something good, though. I do believe that. Like we shit on the XFL in certain angles, but I think those fan bases in San Antonio. I'm excited to see Seattle and St. Louis, but DC needs this. They hate Dan Snyder. They hate all the
So yeah, where was the most lit? What was the
DC? DC
rank the lit. Give me week one.
DC
lit.
won.
San Antonio.
Actually, in my opinion, Saturday's games were kind of weak. Surprised Dallas is where the hub, where everyone stays. Arlington, that crowd was kind of weak, and Houston was all right. So the worst was Dallas.
St. Louis Battlehawks fan reached out to me before the week one and said, "I'll be honest, no one knows this is going on. All the Battlehawk fans, they're not in. There's not much buzz in the city. But then after that amazing comeback victory, he goes, the entire town is now all in.
I can tell you that they scored a big rating TV rating wise in St. Louis.
Yeah,
that was like one of the biggest things for this past week.
They're a city that likes football. They should have a football team. LA doesn't need.
Let's get to the games. Week 2 XFL picks. We have Thursday night football, bringing it back. St. Louis Battlehawks catching 3 points at the Seattle Sea Dragons. Battlehawks plus 135 on the money line. Sea Dragons minus 155 on the favorite. Total sitting at 36.5. Again, all the totals under 40. They got smart. I think what were the totals split? It was 2-2, right, on the overs and unders.
I believe it was
3-1, right?
3-1.
Yeah,
I think Saturday went 2-0, and then I think the only
2-0 to the over.
Only game that went under was.
Well, that's what's shocking is that's how bad the quarterback play was, because you look at the yardage, the offenses weren't putting up a ton of yards.
Defense.
So Vegas and Arlington went over. We shouldn't have talked about blindly taking the under.
I said not to.
Orlando. We discussed it. Orlando.
And I said no. It's not a good idea. I'm not doing it.
And Houston went under by a half point. So honestly, it should have gone 4-0. St. Louis and San Antonio. Also went under. So 2-2.
Oh, he got so lucky. He got so lucky in the Arlington game, or not the Arlington game. You.
Kramer did go 3-1. Didn't have a locker dog.
They got to score with 8 seconds left.
I went 2-2, but I did hit my lock 100% in XFL locks. You can take that to the bank.
Nice.
Colby, the XFL insider,
Yeah.
disappointing 1-3.
Well,
I had Seattle. DiNucci fumbles at the 1. The backdoor cover with 8 seconds left.
I mean, for me, as someone who backed St. Louis and credited with a win there, my bad. AJ McCarron is trash. That is
Well,
my
Ryan,
big takeaway.
that's the game we got. Battlehawks catching 3 in Seattle. What kind of home field will Seattle have, if any? And
What?
No, they have fans last
What are
time.
you
They're going
talking
to show
about?
up, I think.
They're one of the
fans
Colby's
last
top
time.
3 lit locations.
out of 8,
It is a high of 36 degrees. Football
Oh.
is back, baby.
Yes, dome team
Yeah.
outside with fucking pussy ass
Lock
AJ
it up.
McCarron.
And let's be honest, man. And I know Stacking the Money, you came in while we were watching the Seattle DC game. Seattle outgained DC. It was an anomaly. If DiNucci doesn't throw the 2 pick sixes, essentially,
I don't know if it's an anomaly. I think we might be seeing
2 takeaways.
we are who we thought he was. Ben DiNucci might just suck. 2 interceptions and a horrific backbreaking goal line fumble versus the Battlehawks. AJ McCarron, his sons are on the sideline. He's doing it for the city of St. Louis.
Anthony Beck for 58 minutes looked like he couldn't coach anything. There was like 0 adjustments. It worked out in his favor.
I think a couple things. I
told myself I wouldn't bet on Ben DiNucci again, just because it's tough to bet a guy who's openly involved in fixing games.
Wow. I mean,
where's the sport integrity?
DC and Seattle was a matchup between what we're going to find out are 2 of the best teams in the league.
Yeah, our futures look good.
Shout out Reggie Barlow. And so look, Seattle. Obviously, I'm playing Seattle here. I do think the offense had a plan. The interceptions.
AJ McCarron had some confidence issue, but he's got it figured out.
He looked horrible. He looked hard. All right,
lock it up. I've already bet this. Seattle's going to destroy them.
What quarterback do you take over? Or
DiNucci's like the best QB. That's what's hilarious.
He looked like. I mean, he had that
times.
Patrick Mahomes-esque backhand throw to Josh Gordon, who, by the way, Sean. I know you posted a video of a guy who was way too big for playing in whatever youth football league he was playing in. But that's what Josh Gordon looked like a little bit next to some of those defensive backs.
He didn't even have that great of a game.
No,
though.
but
he
did get a touchdown.
He looked slightly different. Like he's gonna have a game where he goes off for like 200 yards just because he breaks a couple tackles and is faster than everyone else. Give me Seattle, baby. T-shirts in the mail, by the way.
I like it. You sneaky bastard.
And of course, head over to store.sportsgamblingpodcast.com. We have XFL Gambling Podcast shirts available, ready to go.
I'm also wearing a nice
unofficially licensed team colors. It's not official. They just happen to match
like
up.
that.
And the
DJ's
DJ's only
only
sweatshirt is fire.
Love the first half unders one we got going too.
And March Madness right around the corner, so check out the first half unders. All right, so you guys are on the Sea Dragons. I'm on the Battlehawks. Again, I liked the team bonding I saw out of that Battlehawks team. Battle tested, I would say. They were in St. Louis. And again, short week. This is a Thursday night kickoff. So again, remind your loved ones, it is going to be 3 separate days of XFL football.
They should have done 4. If I was them, I would have done Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday
our
night.
sim schedule worked pretty good in the pandemic. Thursday, Friday, Saturday,
Give
Sunday.
us a call, Dwayne.
Yeah, we really could have helped. I mean, with some of the people working the sideline in these games, we're not that far off.
Next up, we got the Defenders +3 at the Vegas Vipers. Vipers -170, Defenders +145. Total sitting at 36.5. Of course, the Vipers pulled out, or a little bit snake bitten, some would say, in that loss to the Arlington Renegades. They did get the cover here. What's your take on your Vipers, Ryan?
I like this DC team. They're good. Good coach, good quarterback. Know what they want.
Greg Williams, defensive adjustments.
Know what they want to do.
Fucking on.
I mean, if there was ever a league built for Greg Williams, it was the XFL. Like, this is his wheelhouse.
They have why
is he not bringing 8 guys like he did where the Jets gave up that
play against the Browns? Yeah. I think that's what he did with Ben DiNucci. But then DiNucci in the first half was looking fire. Man, he had him all confused in the second half. Great game plan. I thought great adjustments by Greg Williams.
And another,
Greg Williams.
This is back to back weeks for Greg Williams going against probably more the class of the quarterbacks here. Luis Perez, who another spring legend. Entering spring legend status. I was going to mention this with Seattle. I almost like buying the future more with Seattle and buying maybe I wait on Vegas because I do kind of like this DC team here in this spot.
I think you actually buy Vegas at plus 700
now.
Because I think I like them. I like Vegas to win this game.
I don't think they should be favored.
I like them to cover. I'm with J Mark and of course one of the co-hosts of the XFL Gambling Podcast. It's an auto fade of Mr. Luis Perez. He is who we thought he was. He threw 3 touchdowns.
Wait, but you're taking Las Vegas, you said.
What?
Yeah, you're on. You're.
Oh, you're right. I'm on DC.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you're agreeing with.
Fade the Vegas Vipers.
Let me do so. Yeah, that's what I said.
Let me reset. Maybe Perez figures it out. No, I fucked up. I thought he was on the defenders there.
Come on. This is disgusting.
This guy's not scouting over here. Right?
Oh my
He's
god!
phoning this episode in.
Look, DC. I think I do like Vegas as a team still. I think they lose this game, and I think you're going to get a better price in the future. DC 475. The future is probably not a great one, but this again, I think that game between Seattle and DC. I think we're going to learn that these are two very, very good teams after the game this week. So
I agree.
Shocked to see that we can play this as a plus 145 money
DC's
line.
going to have the best defense in the league.
And Vegas will not have a home edge at all. Might be more. DC might have more fans there. Road trip to Vegas to watch.
Probably.
Beer snake in Vegas.
Oh, that'd be great. Someone who is going to this game, please bring some lemons to throw out onto the field.
But Tamu is also kind of a spring guy. Like
De'Aaron King flashed a little bit on the ground though, man. You see that?
Do you think we'll see more De'Aaron King?
Yes.
He only threw, I think, 1 or 2 passes, but thing he was electric on the ground.
If you're in the XFL or the USFL and you're not entertaining a 2 quarterback system, it works. Think of the teams we've seen do it successfully. I mean, think Johnson and Perez last year with the Generals. Why not? Why not have the ability to go both ways?
Yeah, and they were kind of a throwback the way that they ran the ball too. I feel like that's probably the best spring team we've ever seen.
So we're all in the defenders.
Well, you Benedict your way over.
I did. Yeah. I am a little worried about the defenders on the road.
Why?
I don't know.
I'm telling you, there's going to be more DC fans there. I mean, if you're a DC Defenders fan, which there clearly are, and what better excuse to get out to Vegas? Things are cheap. There's not much going on out there. Yeah, we're all. I mean, this is obvious. You can just put this in as my dog now.
All right, before we get to the second half of week 2 XFL, shout out to underdogfantasy.com. That's right. Head over there. Sign up today. If you haven't already signed up Underdog Fantasy, I don't know what you're doing. Best ball season is here. Kramer and I and some guys from the fantasy football shows will be doing some best ball season, the entire offseason in the NFL. And then they have plenty of fun games. Again, AKA player prop over unders for the NHL, for golf. For NBA, they really have you covered for everything. MLB right around the corner. So many ways to win. Just go to underdogfantasy.com, promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit match up to $100. The San Antonio Brahmas are laying 3 on the road at the Orlando Guardians. Orlando Guardians 3-point home dog plus 145 on the money line. Total sitting at 38.5. Orlando probably the I don't know if we've released our XFL power rankings, but I think Orlando is the consensus 8 team in the league. Really got roughed up by the Roughnecks, in part to Paxton Lynch, who got benched. I don't know where you go if you're from here, if you're Orlando, but on the other side, the Brahmas, they're a 3-point road favorite and they're plus 800 to win it all. Do we look to the Brahmas here?
Yes, because of the value in the South
at the future, right? Especially in that division.
I mean, again, reminding people that their division is essentially the teams in Texas plus who? Is it St. Louis or
Orlando?
Orlando, who? Yeah. By the way, our thesis or our theory on them not having a good team because they focused on players in the state of Florida, spot on. Every year there's a team that's just not good.
Yeah.
And they don't. The betting market isn't caught up because they're like, well, San Antonio's 0-1. There's no way on the road minus that. I mean, San Antonio is.
Here's the thing: the Brahmas, I think, are going to have trouble winning their division because the Roughnecks are in there, but they could easily knock out the Renegades, get into the playoffs, and then you're sitting on a plus 800. Again, if you like them to win this game, this price is going to drop to like
they know what they want.
500, 400.
They're going to run the. I mean, Hines Ward not look like a football coach? He ate his way into football coach shape. He looked like a football coach. I was buying him being a coach of a defensive first team, like Pittsburgh Steelers style.
Yeah.
And again, I think you have to, if you understand your identity, even if it's simple, like we're going to run the ball and play defense, that's fine. They blew a game. They blew a game that they dominated for 58 minutes. This is a clear play on San Antonio. Clear.
Yeah. I'm all over. I mean, you can't take Orlando. You just can't. They just look so bad.
You know what?
If anything,
do we have any? Are they starting Paxton Lynch again?
No. Well,
Quentin Dormady. I was surprised Francois didn't even get in the game.
Can J Mark report on this, please? I know there's been memeing on Paxton Lynch and getting benched but is the go forward plan to not roll him out? I mean, he does have all that talent. It was the reason you drafted. Why do people get so excited with this? All right, so can we make a parallel from Paxton Lynch to Anthony Richardson and Will Levis?
Oh wow!
Why are people are getting out of their mind? All right, Colby, you're a college football guy.
Yeah.
Oh wait, we have breaking. We have breaking
Francois.
The Frenchman himself, DeAndre Francois, will play per the Guardians, per Justin Mark of the XFL Gambling Podcast,
as reported by.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
back to your comment. You know who Anthony Richardson kind of reminds me of is Jake Locker.
Interesting, but
unbelievable athlete, but we haven't seen him put it together.
Literally
raw.
Could not hit the broadside of a barn.
Very raw.
I mean, it's like, guys, you see what's happening with Justin Fields? Like, he looked like he could throw in college, and he can't throw in the NFL. Like, this Anthony Richardson guy, relax.
The thing is he's really young. I'm surprised he came out.
I get it.
I'm surprised he came out.
This is the Dick Olson. This is the Dick Olson. You got a big dick measurement because you got massive measurables.
He's only started like 13 games.
Yeah, that's not. I mean, that's generally not a positive when you're coming into the NFL. Someone is going to bust out hard. I'm trying to figure out which team it's going to be, but all right. Back to Paxton Lynch.
There certainly is a world where Francois comes in, gives them a spark, but
I thought he was going to come in last week. I thought he was by far. I thought he was the best quarterback on the roster. When I looked in the preseason, I was like, oh, they got to be starting Francois. Then I saw they were starting Lynch. Then they bring in Dormady. I'm already wondering about our guy Terrell Buckley at head coach there with the Guardians, unless there was something that I didn't know with an injury. That's why we're writing him off. Yeah.
Well, and
him and Beck didn't look.
I think this is going to be, and I don't know what they set the total at, 38.5. This is a total. I do like the under because the Brahmas, I think, have a decent running game. Kellen Balazs,
best run game in the league. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and again, Jack Cohn didn't look great, but that to your point, like they were beating the Battlehawks for a long portion of the game, and then Cohn. I think you're going to want to limit the times Cohn throws the ball, so it feels like an ugly, grinded out win for the Brahmas.
And I think like Balazs being an example, like you can see the guys, the running back specifically that position, you can see the guys who have played in the NFL. Like I don't remember him being like a bruising back in the NFL, and he was had a little bit of that pop,
Yeah.
So
easy play on San Antonio.
Look, I think San Antonio is going to be, like we said, the future. Maybe a nice buy here, but they're a fun dark horse because I think they're going to be in like these tight competitive games. And again, they were up 15-3. They were dominating.
And they missed field goals. They could have been up more.
They have the type of team that could succeed in the XFL. I'm going to officially add that to the futures list here at the bottom. San Antonio Brahmas plus 800.
And honestly, the way that Hines Ward celebrated with the kicker when he made that 48-yarder or whatever, like that's the kind of shit that's the culture that Brian Dable deployed in New York to help turn around a franchise and save a
had
city.
A crowbar that one, Green, didn't he? Huh?
Yep. Coach of the year.
1-5-1 in the division.
We're talking
Colby, if
postseason awards.
Colby, just hypothetical, you had $45 million to give to a quarterback. Daniel Jones or Patrick Mahomes?
Oh, come on. I mean,
Daniel Jones.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Daniel Jones is a slam dunk. I mean, he's easily the best quarterback in the NFL.
It's called negotiating. Stop reading the tabloids.
The Sonny Jurgensen 2.0.
I mean,
Arlington Renegades are catching 4.5 points.
It's a good game
against the Houston Roughnecks in Houston. Arlington plus 165 on the money line. Total sitting at 40. I mean, I love Wade Phillips and this defense. The Roughnecks, how can you pick against them? They have not lost in XFL history.
True. Undefeated.
And they have a guy that can literally wreck the game in Trent Harris. XFL record 4 sacks in the home opener. For comparison, Kayvon Walker led the XFL in sacks in 2020 with 4.5 through 5 games. Yeah. So if you add a guy with that kind of get off, with that kind of pass rush, with this Wade Phillips defense, you're gonna fuck some teams up.
Yep.
Renegades needed 2 pick sixes to get their win.
This is a big number.
You can't complain about what Wade Phillips did in week 1, but I do think there's a chance that just might be a result of Orlando being that bad.
It's also
true.
And that is why I'm going to take Arlington in the points here.
Wow.
I thought Bob Stoops made great halftime adjustments.
Not worried about getting a case of Sal Canella. No,
could get a case of Sal Canella in this matchup, but yeah, I think Arlington's and I think Plitt looked a little nervous, but he's still got Sloter Sundays there that could come out this week.
Sundays.
I think the Roughnecks defense is going to eat them up.
Boy, and one of these future prices I think has got to be wrong because they're in the same division, right? Like,
yeah,
we're back to this basic math. One of them's going to lose this weekend, so certainly if you like one of them, specifically, I'm kind of with Sean in terms of just, give me Max Borgi all day. He seems like he's the kind of running back that's like a cheat code in Madden where it's just like pew pew pew. I don't know if we have. There we go. And I do think that this until I see my and I'm so happy I have the old school sweatshirt because the new logo, Colby, you're right, it's not there, not all the way there.
I'll be honest, the uniform's big fail by the XFL this go around.
Yeah,
I thought 2.0 way better uniform.
Yeah, I like the uniforms, but I think
the Roughnecks helmet is just dog shit.
Little distracting.
No, that's what I'm saying. 2.0 is way better than 3.0.
Oh, I didn't realize this was chapter 3. Yeah. I always forget about chapter 1. Look, for me, this is. It's lay the points with the Roughnecks or nothing. I think the Renegades.
So you're saying it's the potential stay away for you, Ryan?
If I have to take a side, it's Houston.
You do.
But look,
we're the sports gambling podcast, not the sports leaning podcast.
I think you can money line. Well, actually, I'll give this out later.
Is this gonna be your dog because you only have DC as your dog?
I already told you my dog was DC.
Time for the lock and dog, brought to you by sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WynnBet. Kramer, you're on the clock.
I mean, the lock is Seattle. My Sea Dragons.
Wow.
June Jones, the Danucci. He made a couple of mistakes and they looked really bad. There was also some effective shit going on, and I don't think he's playing against Greg Williams and that defender's defense this week. So yeah, I love Seattle, and then dog is DC. I think those were the best 2 teams. That was the best game last week. That was the most. I think both of those teams had plans and they knew what they wanted to do. Honorable mention for the lock, San Antonio. Love I really do like round Hines Ward and his coaching figure.
For me, lock, I'm going Houston Roughnecks.
Oh,
dog,
wow.
DC on the money line. I'm also going to toss this in of a Houston -4.5 and Brahmas -3.
Oh wow! Bonus
parlay.
See, I think you money line Seattle and DC. I think.
Why would you scared to lay in 3 points?
I mean, with the Colby does point out there is some more. There is.
What are the key numbers in the XFL?
Not 3. I can tell you, it's not going to be 3. Not with the crazy ability to go for 3.
It's kind of crazy, right? All the numbers were off.
I'm going to say that we're going to money line Seattle, San Antonio, and Houston. That'll pay nicely. Yeah, I'll give you.
Colby, what do you got?
Well, you guys are.
What do you mean?
You guys are all going with the same dog, but I'm saying, give me Seattle. Seattle's gonna wax St. Louis up there.
Great job.
In the cold. And then dog. Look, DC, my team, but I can't take him here because you guys are taking him.
DC's your team?
Yeah, I mean, I like the lemons. The lemon.
Kramer ordered you a Vegas Vipers shirt.
No,
I like DC and Seattle. Those are my futures.
Oh wow.
No, my money line is the Arlington Renegades. They get it done. Bob Stoops getting it done. Let's go.
Let's go.
All right.
How about this? DC, Arlington money line parlay. Let's have some fucking fun.
Really?
I like where your head's at. I don't like the Arlington pick. I like money line dog parlays in spring football, but I cannot co-sign that. Not in good conscience.
All right, so I'm doing a Seattle, San Antonio, Houston money line parlay. It pays plus 295. I mean, if you're into that kind of thing, is that enough for you, Sean? That get the blood flowing? Is that extreme? It's not very extreme, I'll admit, but it's 3-1's better than some bullshit.
Hey, toss us a nice rating review over on Apple Podcasts for your chance to win some sweet SGPN gift cards. What do we got here? Let's shout out Iowa 2011. SGPN is gold. I'm glad I found a podcast with such in-depth details to help me rewind my thinking process. Thank you for all you do for the average sports fans at Wilson27. Congrats. If you're listening, hit us up. We'll get you that gift card. Make sure you check out the XFL gambling podcast hosted by Colby, our boy, a man in the box, CJ Sullivan, and J Mark himself.
Thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
Also, Dr. Phil live watch party in Discord this Friday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 o'clock East. Come have a cocktail. We will be watching the show in Discord and commenting.
That's why the XFL didn't have a Friday night game.
They didn't want to compete with the Dr. Phil watch party.
Thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
For the Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, stacking the money green, and he is Ryan.
Great job, guys.
Kramer, let it ride.